This is the story of Bridgeport. Its ever-changing evolution of a city.
And then I worked at the brass company during the war years of 1942 to 1945. I had an interesting job in that Bridgeport Brass was a Navy supplier during the war, and they required certain things. One was to hire a woman who would work with women in the factories who would ask questions, would go to the union, and sometimes got answers, sometimes did not. So I would work with them and then follow through and try to get an answer for them, either from management or from the unions. Learned a lot about machinery and equipment, learned a lot about women, and I was very happy in the job, let me say. Well, I lived on the east side of Bridgeport, and it was the west end and the east side of Bridgeport that had most of the factories. The other industry that was in Bridgeport would be tool and die makers or specialized industrial shops. But living on Barnum Avenue as I did, you had, during the war, you had Remington Arms, you had Singer Sewing Machine, and around the corner on East Main Street you had the Bridgeport Brass Company. Now, and then the big one was the General Electric on Boston Avenue. Now, the General Electric during the First World War was owned and occupied by Remington Arms, and then Remington Arms built their own building on Barnum Avenue. These were huge buildings, and the sad part is that now they're all empty. The easy thing to do was to go to the movies. Now on Main Street alone you had the big theaters, the Poli's and Majestic theaters, and they were, and still are if they ever can renovate them, they were like miniature radio cities. They had murals around, they had gold leaf in the ceiling, they had the angels up in the ceiling. I don't think that Bridgeport will ever be the industrial city that it was in the past, with big factory buildings. I think today it seems that which is wonderful, and this is where I think the city can come back, where there are smaller groups that will come in and do individual things. And of course the computers are going to make a big difference. Things today seem to be on a smaller scale in the Bridgeport area. Tool and die makers, for example, they exist, but it's hard to find them, who were much needed when the factories were in full steam. But I think that there are smaller buildings going up or being taken over by products that don't take as much space, perhaps. I think the city can come back, but it will never come back as some of us at my age remember it, and it shouldn't. And that, you know, as we've said, change is always with us. I think that the rebuildings, for example, of spots in Bridgeport, the redevelopment of areas, specifically the new People's Bank and the renovation of the Barnum Museum, and then with, of course, the Bluefish Stadium being built, which will bring many people into Bridgeport from afar.
Bye.